necessarily mean you have to incarnate back on Earth or anything like that. It's up to you. But you will choose to grow and expand because that's the nature of existence, is to be all that it is. And that never ends. So that growth, that expansion doesn't necessarily have to continue to be felt in a suffering way, in a way that tires you out, but you will choose to grow and expand after you have taken a break if you feel that a break is necessary. You are always allowed to move at your own pace. That is comfortable for you. You may forget that when you're in physical reality because of the nature of your belief system in physical reality that may make things seem to be too urgent. But once you are back in spirit, you will fall back into your natural flow, your natural pace, and you will take whatever amount of timelessness is necessary for you to decide, yes, I'm now excited to expand and move forward again in some way, shape, or form, and you will make the appropriate choice at that time.
And if we are only ever the person that we are now, like you say, and never become anyone else, how can we continue to evolve and have new experiences after the person that we are dies and the lifetime is over?
Well, this person is assuming that physical personality is something that in some way, shape, or form is all you are. So you will always continue to expand and grow and have different experiences, as I just described, in some way, shape, or form. And again, you can create an experience of reincarnation to appear to be a different person, but the idea is that it's just the way that your consciousness starts looking from a higher level through different eyes that all exist at the same time. So it's just a matter of changing the focus of what you are as a consciousness to have these different experiences that all exist simultaneously. So you will use that ability to grow and expand, but the person that you're looking through the eyes of, just to use that particular euphemism, that remains that person, but it doesn't mean you can't have an experience of being a different person, because in a sense, the person that you are familiar with, that you are now, is not who you are anyway. It's still eyes that you're looking through, and you have decided to look through other eyes, and you will decide to look through other eyes, and therefore it's just a matter of focusing your consciousness in a way that gives you different experiences that allow you to grow, even though you are taking advantage of a structure that already exists. We know that that explanation can be a little bit confusing, but nevertheless, that's the best we can do with your language.
Actually, that's very helpful.
All right.
If all the parallel realities already exist and we never make changes to the structure, does it mean that the realities with pain and suffering will always be experienced by some part of consciousness?
Yes. Nothing ever goes away. But again, you have to understand there are different ways to experience that concept. So there are many different ways to experience it. Sometimes you have experienced it in the way that you might call negatively. And yes, that's always a choice. It's always there. It's always part of the structure. So yes, the opportunity always exists. It has to, because some souls actually choose that for their own growth.
Okay, we have some ET questions I think I'll ask here. Could you explain why Essassani clothing is blue? What kind of clothes do people wear in Willa's society?
We have never said that all Essassani clothing is blue. I may have described some of the things I was wearing as blue at the time, but not all Essassani clothing is blue. We're not sure why you understood it that way. Nevertheless, there is a variety of color in Essassani clothing. A lot of it is similar, a lot of it is form-fitting, a lot of it serves many different functions, and we actually have said in the past that it can change color, and it can actually change its function, because it is a kind of nanotechnological suit that can become many things, including becoming a spacesuit. So it's not always the same color, and it's not always performing the same function. That's a misunderstanding. If we were not clear about that, we apologize.
So it almost
Now,
sounds
in
like,
Willa's time, The clothing is a variety of things. Mostly it is always very comfortable. It is relatively loose-fitting in many cases, although again there are exceptions based on the functionality of what it is that people choose to wear. But by Willa's time, a lot of people will simply wear what they're comfortable wearing. Sometimes even what might be considered to be a mix of older fashion styles and styles that may come from other planets as well.
And are there other members of your family that are currently being channeled through other people on Earth right now?
There are other members of the Essassani society that are being channeled, no other members of my family, except now and then you have heard my father come through on rare occasions.
Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have a sister that is engaged in the idea of the creation of the birthing villages that crop up now and then to allow Essassani children to be born.
Anybody else?
There are others. It is not time for me to talk about them.
Okay. And why is it that you're in a parallel reality 500 light years from Sirius and not just 500 light years from Sirius constellation?
No, you have misunderstood what we have said. We are in a parallel reality. Our solar system is about, if you were to overlap the realities, 500 light years in the direction of the Orion constellation from Earth. We have never said we are 500 light years away from Sirius. We are 500 light years away from Earth in the direction of the Orion constellation, not in the direction of Sirius.
And for those beings from other races, Pleiadian, for example, that have incarnated as a human in order to support humanity, what will they do after they leave the human body? Will they re-embody and rejoin their original family in the Pleiadian sense?
Well, some of them may not. It's up to them, isn't it? You're asking that question, whoever is asking it, as if there is simply one way for them to do things. They can decide what they will do next. Some of them may continue their Pleiadian journey. Some of them may continue a human journey on Earth. Some of them may go elsewhere. It's up to the individual to decide what is best for their soul.
Okay, and there is a symbol known as the flower of life, and it's been used by a number of different cultures. Can you
Yes.
tell us anything about this symbol? Is there any hidden meaning, and what could we learn from this symbol?
Yes. The symbol is a shorthand representation of the idea we have discussed of the double Fibonacci spiral overlapping one another in opposite directions, and bringing out the idea of the nodal points where the lines cross that represent the different states of energy and matter that form what you understand to be the physical and non-physical multiverse. So it's a shorthand symbol that represents the underlying structure, energetically speaking, in terms of a consciousness pattern of how all matter and energy is presented in the multiverse.
Okay. And do the Giza pyramids line up with Orion, and also do they line up with Cygnus, since that was where the Anunnaki originated?
The three main pyramids on the Giza Plateau do have some alignment with the idea of Orion and the three stars in the belt. They do not line up with Cygnus. And remember, these things were created long after the Anunnaki were gone. So there is no indication in the three pyramids of the idea of the Anunnaki's connection with Cygnus. It is not representative of that. It is representative of the Orion connection.
Okay. And you have described how crop circles on Earth are higher level communication with Gaia. Do phenomenon like crop circles occur on Essassani and other worlds? And how do they differ from those on Earth? And how do you relate to them?
They do in different ways and can actually form in different substances. The idea is that it can be experienced, as on our world and on some other worlds, as a very playful interaction with certain interdimensional levels of consciousness that communicate by making alterations in the electromagnetic energy of certain physical substances in physical reality. But they don't have to all appear in crops. Some of them can appear in water, some of them can appear in ice, some of them can even appear in solid matter, some of them can appear in the air. So it just depends on how the vibrational resonance of the civilization creates a medium for those interdimensional consciousnesses to be capable of projecting their communicational symbols. On Earth, it is used in crops because that is one of the natural ways you have of relating to the idea of Earth and the elementals, is in the things that supply sustenance to you as a human being. And so it's the easiest way to get your attention. It's the easiest medium to manipulate because you have an intimate relationship with the idea of crops because they feed you.
And can you explain your role with the Ascended Masters? Are you working with them?
Yes, in many cases, we have actually mentioned this before, where in transmitting to your collective consciousness, we always also go through the different archetypal levels, which includes the Ascended Masters, in order to make sure that the information we are sharing with all of you does not in any way, shape, or form intervene or spoil the surprises you have created for yourself to discover. So yes, we are always working with them to determine the best way in which to deliver information that serves humanity best.
And is there a symbol we can meditate on to improve our sense of self-confidence?
You would have to examine the beliefs about why you are confident that you have no confidence. So allow yourself to understand there is no such thing as a lack of confidence, but you can be very confident that you have no confidence. So see the symbol of the yin-yang, the paradox, that there is both sides blending together, creating what appear to be opposite ideas, but they're still part of one thing, and each contains a part of the other. Paradox. Just think paradox. When you think anything like that is lacking, I lack trust, I lack confidence, I lack power, understand from the point of paradox. The symbol, whatever symbol you like that represents paradox, be it the yin-yang symbol or even just the letter P, capital P for paradox. Allow yourself to focus on that and understand the paradox in what you are saying. When you think you have little confidence or no confidence, remember you're confident about that. When you think you have no trust, you lack trust, you are trusting that idea. When you think you have no self-empowerment, no power at all, you're using your power and control to create that experience of lack of empowerment. So think of it in terms of paradox. Whatever symbol or letter represents paradox to you, to put you back in the center, in the neutral space between what appear to be two opposing ideas.
And how can we tell we're living in a split parallel reality dimension? You've spoken about it being like looking through glass. How do we know we're looking at a split reality or that we're not actually part of that reality?
You know it by when you follow the formula and you experience different things than other people are experiencing that may even seem almost impossible or contradictory to experience in a reality like what they're creating. You know by your own experience of what you are attracting into your life that you are existing in a different vibrational reality than they are.
Okay. And lastly, this person says, when I started listening to your transmissions, I was attracted to the crystal skull session as well as the sacred circuitry session. What is the connection between these two topics, and how can I best utilize this connection for contact?
The sacred circuits are representative of the idea of changing the neural pathways in your brain to be more capable of receiving higher frequency energy. The crystalline matrix, the molecular makeup of the crystal skulls, is a kind of representation of this idea that they have certain pathways within them, molecularly speaking, in the crystalline formation that allows them to collect and absorb and retain and transmit information that is in alignment with the rearrangements you have made of the neural net in your brain by following the sacred circuits, which make you a better antenna to receive the kind of higher frequency information that is stored in the skulls.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. So we thank you for these interactions, for allowing us to share these perspectives. And again, we encourage you to take the actions and the steps, if you're willing, to be able to align with open contact, to give others a chance to do so as well, to recognize the difference between theory and what has gone beyond theory because of your own research. Take the time to do so. Take the time to recognize when something has gone over the border from theory to fact. Even if it's still anecdotal, you can allow yourself to know the difference. But in this context, obviously, we are talking about the idea of contact with ETs, such as ourselves, with other interdimensional beings. But all of this comes down to having more contact within yourselves and with each other. Being a reflection of the idea of the interstellar alliance in your own reality. Mirroring that vibration, that energy. So, our unconditional love to you all, and we give you over now to the remainder of this transmission. Go into whatever receptive state, meditative state, relaxed state you so desire, you so prefer. And we encourage you, as always, to breathe and breathe and breathe. We would suggest at this time that you all allow yourselves to get into a relaxed position, to breathe deeply and easily. And as you are doing so, to add whatever you wish to add in terms of lights and sounds, music, what have you, eyes closed, eyes open, but relax and let go of the cares of the day. Keep breathing deeply, evenly, fully, in and out, in and out. And as you do so, we ask you to imagine a version of Earth where open contact is already happening, in whatever way, shape, or form that seems relevant to you in a positive context. How you imagine it doesn't necessarily have to be literal. Just get involved in the vibrational feeling of what such a version of Earth would be like when your eyes are open to the fact that you are not alone among the stars, that there is a galactic family here for you, and that the actions that you are willing to take today can create the navigational tool that will shift you over and over and over and over again in the direction of the highest probability for open contact and membership and participation in the Interstellar Alliance in such a way that is to your best benefit and the benefit of all, in service to humanity, so that you can open up in your imagination what such a version of Earth would be like when there is freedom, when there is bounty, when everyone has truly what they need to thrive, when everyone knows how blessed they are, how appreciative they are for their lives, for the connections they have with their soul family, for the connections they have to all other individuals in humanity, and the deep appreciation for all the reflections that they are given from humans and ETs and spirit guides and source, from the angelic realm to parallel lives, and the awakening that would happen within you in the realization of all the connections and the dynamic interactions that you have constantly going on, that is continuously downloading information and experiences to you to allow you to use them to create your timeline, your life path, as you agreed to do, and as you allow yourself to become more and more and more open to expressing the fullness of your being, the fullness of your soul. And you feel in your heart, in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, the gratitude, the comfort, and the joy of what is truly your home in spirit, and seeing the earth and everyone on it and everyone connected to it as just another expression of spirit playing out for your purposes, for your choices, for your soul's growth, for your soul's realization of your full potential in beauty, in love, in service to all. Breathe it in. Breathe in this vision without insistence, without assumption as to what it would actually look like, but create your own version for now to allow the resonant frequency of open contact to permeate every cell of your being, of your body, of your soul. To know your true self and see it reflected in the eyes of joy of all the beings that will come to encounter you when open contact blossoms and blooms on the garden of earth that will allow your soul to sigh in its expression of release and freedom and joy. To sigh and let go. To take in all that you have learned. To cherish all the challenges that have helped you become, in this moment of contact, who you are. Your willingness to be you. To participate. To be involved. To be engaged. And to be in love with humanity in all of its challenges, positive and negative, that have brought you to this point, in compassion and seeing through the eyes of all that is. Breathe it in and be free. Breathe it in and be yourself. Breathe it in and join us. Breathe it in